Welcome back, folks, to another Piney Grove hunting edition. I got in the blind this morning around 5:30 or so. I'm being quiet because there's a doe in the pot right now, about 100 yards away. But it's been kind of hit or miss with deer this morning. The feeder went off about 6:30, and then a single spike buck went over to the feeder, and he fed there for a while. And then a buck fawn joined him. It's this year's fawn. It doesn't have its mom, but it's perfectly capable of, living its life and growing. But it came over and fed with him. And then they went their own separate ways. And I got, I think I got a fawn and I think after that I had a doe and a fawn. Then a little bit later, a doe and a set of twin fawns. Had 7 turkeys come in. They were all hen turkeys, and they're actually still sitting right over there, about 60 yards away. They've been here all morning. They ate the corn, and then they just kind of loafed for a while. Then I had 2 tom turkeys come in, and they went up to the hens, and they actually puffed up like they do in the spring. It's not mating season for turkeys yet, but the toms were definitely trying to show off to the hens, so that was interesting to watch the hens and the toms interact. And also there was a couple deer there at the same time. I gotta keep checking the plot. Make sure I don't miss an opportunity. So then I had a doe and a set of twins come in. And they stayed real close to the condo here. And they're about 40 yards away. And they fed and then went back in. And after that, I just kind of lost track as deer came in and out of the plot. I'm sure most of them are the same deer that were already in the plot. But the most exciting thing so far, well, there's been two exciting things. One was the spike buck that was here earlier. He decided after a couple hours he wanted to initiate something with some of these does. So he started running up to them, and the does aren't ready to breed yet, but it's a 1.5-year-old buck. So he's not really sure what he's doing. He just knows that it's about that time of year, breeding time, the rut. So he started chasing them, and it was incredible. It was fun to watch. And then he ran all the does off the plot, and he just kept running. He was running like, hound dogs after a rabbit or something. It was just crazy. He was hauling butt that way, doing circles, and he'd stop in front of me, and he'd pant, and I could hear him gasping for air. He was just wearing himself out, running for no reason. He wasn't chasing anything. And he went up to the licking stick, and he peed and he pooed on that, or in that area. And he ran for a while, and then he just ran off. He was gone. Now, he did come back, and he fed for a while. He was real calm. He was, trying to catch his breath, get some nutrients. All right, I got to see. This doe's looking around. Okay, nothing. So like you typically get this time of year, all the way across the plot, I saw a deer lurking in the shadows about 130 yards away. And it finally stepped into the plot, and I could see the sun glistening off its antlers. And from that distance, it looked like it might be a buck I'd be interested in. So I scrambled, got the camera, got my hearing protection, got the rifle ready. But it turned out to be a buck we call wonky. But he kind of came in and smelled a doe that was in the plot. Found out or decided or discovered that she wasn't ready. She's not in estrus yet. And because he's more mature, 3.5 years old probably, he decided it wasn't worth his time to stick around. So he smelled her, smelled where she had and peed on the ground, and decided she wasn't ready, and he walked right in front of me and went around the back here, around the back corner. I don't know where he went after that. He fed for just a little bit, but he didn't chase. He just came into the pot, checked out the doe that was in the pot, and then moved on. He's on the hunt. This is the chase phase of the rut, and they are just walking around, running around in some cases, looking for a doe that's ready. But the does aren't ready yet. They won't be ready for a couple more weeks. There might be one or two that come in early, but for the most part, it'll be February. We're only January. We're only in the beginning of January now. So that's where we're at. It's about 10 o'clock. I've been sitting here for 4 hours or 4.5 hours. Probably sit till 1 o'clock, maybe noon, 1 o'clock, I'm not sure. And then I might brought some corn to fill the feeders, and then I might check the cameras, or I might just sit here all day. It just depends on what happens in the next couple hours. But that's the update, and I'll keep you posted if anything interesting happens. Like I started out this video, I still have that one doe out there. She's about 90 yards away, 95 yards away. She can't hear me. The wind's blowing from her to me. It's kind of noisy outside. Stay tuned. Okay, quick update. You can see I'm back to the truck. It was 39 degrees when I walked in this morning. It's 66 now. I sat till right about noon. But what I'm going to do now is go fill my feeders and check my cameras. Deer don't move much in the middle of the day. They will during the rut, but still not as much as they do in the morning and in the evening. So I'm going to take care of a couple of these chores, and then I'm going to get back in that same stand I was in. I didn't take that buck, and that buck that came out was a perfectly legal Florida buck, and it was also allowed per our rules. You know, here on this property, bucks have to be 3.5 years old or better. And in Florida, in this part of Florida, bucks have to have at least 2 points or 1 forked antler. So that buck met the criteria, but there's other bigger bucks out here that I'm after. He's definitely 2.5 years old. I think he's 3.5 years old. We have poor nutrition out here, and we have poor genetics out here. So looking at him up close, I thought he'd be bigger based on the trail cam pictures I have, but in person, he was a much smaller buck, and he definitely wasn't anything I was interested in harvesting. And no, you cannot eat antlers. You can only eat the body of a deer, but that deer might go 125 pounds. I think maybe even less. And the more mature bucks, the 4.5-year-olds and better, they're going to run about 140, 145 pounds. There's significantly more meat on the bigger and older bucks, so that's another reason why I passed him. So I'm going to go take care of these chores and then get back in that stand and do the evening hunt. Usually in the evening, especially in that spot, that's more of an afternoon spot than it is a morning spot, you'll get the bucks coming out. So we're going to give it a try this evening. Okay, I'm settled back in my stand for the afternoon hunt. And as I was walking up to the stand, I saw a white tail, and 2 deer, a doe and a fawn, were right under the stand. But I have sheet metal between my ladder and the plot, so they ran off about 30 yards, and she's standing out there right now, looking back this way, wanting to see what was making the noise. But I was able to get in the condo. The wind's blowing from her to me. So I was able to get into the condo, get settled in, and I'm just waiting for her to calm down. The fawn is already eating. They're 30 yards that way. The fawn has already put its head down and started eating. She's still looking back towards this way, waiting for something to come out of the woods. But that's the importance of being able to get in and out of your stand with deer in the plot. It was 39 degrees this morning. It's 70 right now. I almost went home. I really don't like to hunt when it's this warm. It just doesn't really feel like hunting sometimes, but it's 2 o'clock. It's only 3 hours till sunset, so I don't have to sit here that long, and I'll get to see what comes in this pot in the evening. I got caught up with a feeder that wasn't working. Well, actually, the feeder was working, but when I went to hoist it back up with the winch pulled out of the wood. I didn't have any tools with me, so I had to use whatever I had in my truck to get that winch mounted again, and that took me about an hour. Pretty frustrated with that. That's why I almost went home as well. I was just figuring I was done with the day. But anyway, I'm going to look out the window, see what she's doing, and see if I can open my window. I need to get some air movement in here. Well, the situation is even worse now. because behind that pine tree, I think you can see the head, another doe came out. And that doe doesn't know I'm here either. But now I really can't open my window. But you can see it munching away. The doe that was staring at me earlier is still out there staring at me. I did it. I was able to get in the stand and get the window open with 4 does in the plot. The first does that busted me went ahead and fed. When nothing came out of the woods, they just figured they were seeing things. And then 2 more came out. But they're out there now at about 60, 70 yards. And I have no idea I'm here. Luckily, I have the wind in my favor. Finally got some bucks. I got an 8-point and a 4-point out there. And then the spike that's been here basically all day just ran off a couple does. So I got 8 deer in front of me that I can see. So it's right at sunset. It's about 4:55. And we got a little bit of light chasing out here. But we got no new bucks. I got about 30 minutes left. But I don't like to shoot at the very last minute. The camera's making it seem brighter than it is. All right, folks, I made it back to the truck. I didn't stay till the very last light because the buck that I was looking at, he was looking in the woods and he saw something and it made him spook. And I thought maybe it was a bear or something, but one of the bucks came back. So they just spooked, maybe for no reason, but it was a prime opportunity for me to get down without being detected. Also, I don't like to shoot right at that fading light. You know, the sun sets at 4:57. You can shoot till about 5:30, but it starts getting really dark. It becomes hard to track. You're not sure if you hit them. You can't really see their body reaction. Even though the scope lights it up a little bit, I just don't like to do that. So I like to find that opportunity when the sun sets, when I still have half an hour of shooting light. I like to find that opportunity to escape undetected from my stand so that they never know I was there, and they continue to not associate that stand with a hunter or danger. So that's what I did. I got out of there. Thanks for coming along on today's hunt. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I did. I saw 14 turkeys, 7 hens, 7 toms, and about 14 deer. I saw a lot of deer, a lot more deer than that, but I don't want to double count. So I think my count was right around 14 deer, 2 shootable bucks, 2 does without fawns. So there was 4 opportunities for a harvest today. But I'm tagged out on does and I'm looking for a specific buck, or at least an older buck than what showed up today. So if you would, please click that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll catch you on the next one. Take care, y'all.